So I want to talk to the real truth seekers out there, not the people that stop at 9/11, because by now most people should know that 9/11 was a complete lie. The official story is not true. It goes way further than that even, but you got to at least get the basics down on that. And I don't want people that are stopping at Flat Earth, because Flat Earth is very important. Questioning, what you've been told as far as galaxies and planets and stuff that you can't really verify for yourself, but you're just taking people's words for it that you've heard on television. That's very important to look into, but it goes further than that, and I don't want people that want to stop at the Mandela effect either. If it does go further than that, which I'm sure it does, because I want to look at the whole truth of things, and then I also want to talk about gain stocking and organized stocking. That's what I originally started doing videos on. I haven't forgot about that topic. There's so much disinformation, so much gray area on that topic. I used to think it was 100%, I bought into, the official line on that it was just all 100% government, groups that are just following you around, and there's all these people that are involved in it. But running into the Mandela effect, I realized that my mind's expanded, and I think that there's definitely a connection between the two, and I think it goes much further than what you hear about. And I also want to get back to the Mandela effect, and people are probably are clearly annoyed with me talking about the subject. They think like, well, how come you're more concerned about, one letter changing in the Berenstain Bears, and you're not focused on, the elections that are coming up and who's going to decide the fate of the country? And again, these people don't get it. People that are rooting for Donald Trump, like he's going to make America great again. May I remind you, the guy is a billionaire. He's been on The Apprentice. He's been all over Hollywood. You think that this guy hasn't been through the system to get to where he is, and then a lot of people say like, well, he's making all this money now, he can't be controlled. That's total BS. And if you're being honest with yourself, it's BS, because if you're in the system, you can't expect someone in the system to change the system. It's just not going to happen, because even if the people in this position had a change of heart, they're going to be taken out early and they're going to be replaced, and you're probably not even going to know about it, because you don't get on television, you're not given all this additional airtime unless you're under complete control, because they can't have something unscripted happen and throw off everything that's going on. And then the Trump supporters are going to say, well, you're just a Hillary supporter, obviously. Again, they're not getting it. I don't like Hillary either. She's just as evil. But right now, there's this whole circus going on where, throw all the hate on Hillary. And, she's had this whole thing where she's had this sickness, whether this is staged or not, I don't know. But, there's all these questions about whether the election could be canceled because of it. But again, she's just a puppet. She's just getting thrown under the bus, just like everyone else. And the reason they're throwing them under the bus is so that everyone will throw their hate on them and put all the blame and focus on them instead, and take it off the people that are behind that are involved in it. It's pretty simple. I mean, it's been explained many times, but people still kind of go off track on that, and they still want to believe in things. And trust me, I know what that's like, because Ron Paul, I was really into him 2008 to 2012. I love the guy. Who doesn't want to end the Fed, the monopoly printing press? He said all the right things. He seemed like a great, modest guy. But in 2008 and 2012 elections, he backed down for no reason. He didn't have to. I don't care if, the so-called fake polls said one guy was ahead, he was too far behind, so he might as well step down. That's nonsense. You still hang in to the end. And, after I donated money to him and everything, and it got, everything clicked at that point. You noticed how he was hanging out on like Infowars and stuff, which has still has great information. It's watered down a lot compared to what he won't touch the shootings like Sandy Hook. There's no blood, but that's not worth investigating. You know, that's not important enough nonsense. I mean, it's ridiculous. But you start realizing all these people in the truth movement are kind of that, at least, you know, the big names that are put out there and you see that have, you know, hundreds of thousands of viewers and stuff like that. They're all hanging out with the same people. They're kind of buddy with each other. Like I said, I've gotten into this before, but the light bulb just kind of comes on at that point. So people just need to, once again, look deep. Don't get distracted. Don't look one way because they tell you to look one way. Actually use your own logical mind. Don't get too high, don't get too low. Don't have rain clouds on your head all the time, but don't have your head in the clouds either. You have to be neutral, middle ground. Look at things logically to figure out what's going on here. Anyway, I got that out of the way. Now I want to talk about this Mandela effect lately. And I know a lot of people, like I said, don't want to hear this, but that's why I'm going to talk about it, because I'm actually looking for the truth. I don't care about what nonsense people say. So there's this Looney Tunes thing that people remember as being spelled Toons, even though it's Tunes right now. And how now there's this change with Tiny Toons, where I remember it being spelt with Toons the same way a lot of us remember Looney Tunes. And how I know this changed for an absolute fact is because I've been in this group following this for about a year, and we've been tracking this for a long time. There's 100% no doubt about it. I know there's people say like, oh, you're confusing it with this or that. BS, that's not what's going on. Because, like I said, Toons, Looney Tunes is what we remember, and Tiny Toons were both spelled the same. Come to find recently, it's spelled Tiny Toon, Toon. Yep, the S is gone, it's just Tiny Toon now. That's amazing. And then another one lately that's undeniable is Bic Whiteout. Everyone knows the color white, obviously. You would think whiteout, right? It's spelled just like the color, W-H-I-T-E, whiteout. It's always been that way, right? Nope, now it's whiteout with spelled W-I-T-E, whiteout. And that's hilarious because it seems like there's a dumbing down intentional changes going on here, because there's been more than a few. Another one that comes to mind is double stuffed Oreo cookies. It was spelled, like stuff is spelled S-T-U-F-F. Now it's S-T-U-F, missing an F. So it's just, some of these changes are glaringly obvious. I know there's a lot of suspect ones. There's a lot of, well, I could have swore it was this way, but maybe it wasn't. But there's a lot of them too where it's like, this is definitely a 100% change. There's no doubt about it. So people need to, look inside themselves. What do you think you remember? Trust your memories. Trust what you know. Don't trust talking heads. Don't get distracted, looking one way or the other. What do you believe? What do you know in your heart? What do you know? What does your consciousness tell you? Not what other people are telling you. And you will find the truth. Like I said, I don't know how long it's going to take. A lot of people are saying we're in the end days and all this stuff. I'm neutral on, the Bible and God and everything too. Just because I never fully believe, I don't believe in things. I try to find out if it's true or not. It's good to believe in things to give you a happy feeling, and so you're not, some people kind of need that so they don't feel down on themselves all the time. But just remember, if you believe too strongly in something, you're going to run into the same problem down the road. Like, what if we get down, the road where, there's a second coming of Jesus thing. Who knows if it's like a Project Bluebeam thing that makes it happen. And, the believers are like, oh, this is it. And then they follow the rest of the Bible. And especially now that the Bible is changing with the Mandela effect, like all these scripture and everything is changing. You can't trust that anymore. Even the original Bible, we don't know if that changed in the past or whatever. So you just got to remember, this great deception could include anything and everything, and I have a feeling it does. But the point is, trust your instincts, keep going with it, look into everything, and it's basically the same video I've been doing the last couple times. But like I said, I'm kind of a spectator. I've always been a fly on the wall. I just observe things. I don't, do things because people tell me to. My whole life I've been trying to figure out what's going on. There's a lot of these YouTube channels that are just focused on, their subscriber count and setting up PayPal accounts, and that's fine if you legitimately can't. If you're legitimately in dire straits, you don't have a job or whatever, and you need to fund yourself, through these YouTube videos, okay, I can understand that, seriously, but there's a lot of people that don't need the money. They already have a great job, they're fine, but they're just looking to milk, a few extra dollars, out of people. And when you do that, you start relying on your subscribers to dictate where you go with the truth and not what the truth actually is. And that's what I completely avoid. I want to figure out what's really going on. Like I said, if you get money involved, or if you start getting too buddy-buddy with all these other big truthers in the movement, you get thrown off track. And that's what I don't want to see happen with people, and what I do see happen with a lot of people. Some days I feel like I'm like one of like a few thousand people in the world that is really trying to find out what's going on. I wouldn't doubt it if this whole world was a matrix at this point. Just the fact that what bothers me is that people just seem to not care about anything at this point. It's not so much that, they're not into the same things that I am, because, I could care less. Everyone has their own interests, but on the big topics, I notice people don't really care. And that's really disturbing, and it makes you wonder where you are in this world. It's sad, but you know what? Positive things are going. I do believe positive things are going to happen. It's the yin and the yang. You can't have good without evil. The good is there too. It's just that we're in darker times right now, and I think we're gonna pull through it. But once again, people just need to keep focused and moving ahead.